the only type of White Sox news is bad news. And
Yeah.
there are 5 confirmed, let's not say there's 6 yet, there's 5 confirmed Tommy John surgeries that are occurring since spring training, since basically February. The most recent, of course, is Drew Thorpe, which is like, what the fuck? He was supposed to be pitching for us. The other is a former, do we call him contestant or name on Alderman or Chicago Alderman or White Sox?
I thought I recognized one of
Perlander
those names.
Barora,
Okay.
Juan Corella, Blake Larson, Kai Bush, and then Mason Adams is the pitcher who's going for a second opinion, but it's more of like second opinion's probably going to tell him he just needs Tommy John surgery. So there's one Tommy John looming in the shadows.
If trends continue as they have been, I think it's leaning towards Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, it's crazy because a team with a lot of players in development that you probably don't want to bring up yet and start that clock on the major league roster are probably your better pitchers even. And the depth of pitching is now taking a huge hit right off the bat. You know, bullpen is hit, starting pitching's hit. It's like you can't catch a break if you're the fucking White Sox right now. It's like there's a curse looming over the White Sox. Not something I really believe in curses, but you know, it's a thing in Chicago. Curses are a thing in Chicago, but you know, most of these guys will come back probably pitching better than ever in most cases, you know, with the after Tommy John surgery, but it's just disappointing. And like, you got to question it too. Like, how the fuck does that happen?
The troubling part, and I'm only extrapolating from what, you know, all the discussion with Garrett Cole was when he was announced to have Tommy John surgery last week. I mean, that's an 18-month recovery typically.
Yeah.
So that's not just the fact that all these are occurring in spring training means that's not 1 year out. That's 2 seasons lost. So that's what's really concerning. The other is the fact that, you know, Drew Thorpe's involved, which is, you know, he's the centerpiece to the Dylan Cease trade. So just I've never heard of that many Tommy John injuries happening to one team in that short of span, let alone like one season, but 1 month essentially. I guess I could see why Ron Kittle might think you're cursed.
Yeah, Ron Kittle thinks we're cursed. So in a fun little ceremony that took place, you know, Harry Carey not only was a Cubs broadcaster, he was also a Cardinals broadcaster, and before going to the Cubs, he broadcast for the White Sox until the early 80s.
That's why I have our actual website quote is always from Harry Carey, even though it's made up. Baseball opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one, and most of them stink. He's the perfect person to represent this blog, podcast, whatever it is, because he did have such a presence on both sides of town, which some people forget. So I'm glad he brought that up. He's definitely a staple of the 70s with the White Sox. Is that when he was?
Yeah, he's the 70s and early 80s. 84, I think, was the first year he came to the Cubs. 83.
That was a good year.
Yeah, or 80, 82. I don't know. I'm trying to remember if he was there. No, he was already gone when the Sox went to the playoffs in 83. So it's probably like 81, 82. He went over to the Cubs, and that's when the big marketing machine started pretty much for the Cubs, and it turned into a party. And they've never looked back.
Stopped.
It hasn't
40
stopped.
years later.
They've not looked back. But so I see this post. I didn't even know this fucking thing was going on. And I just got...
I didn't hear anything about this until you sent that to me. I haven't seen any subsequent coverage or heard anyone talk about it on the radio
It's been
either.
covered everywhere locally, like morning news and shit like that. And I watch the morning news and I missed it. Thank God. It just fucking pissed me off. So, and I know it's supposed to be fun or whatever, but it's like, you're going to do this funny little ceremony and take a ball from 1919 to break to reverse
let's explain what they did. Yeah.
Yeah, they were. Did
Very
they?
reminiscent of the Bartman ball that was destroyed at Harry Carey's. They're
Right. It's
blaming the
this.
ball somehow. That's what
Yeah.
caused the curse. So
Right. So you take a ball. First of all, this is like one of those. This is like a time travel timeline that doesn't make fucking sense because we're
yeah,
gonna blow up a ball from 1919. Does that then remove the 2005 World Series championship because the curse was broken then from
yeah.
1919?
They got a little deeper into it. They're not actually blowing up the ball. They're just reburying it. This
Yes, they're
ball was
reburying it. Right, right.
this ball was found, I guess, in the like an excavation having to do with the Tribune Tower renovations or something. They found time capsules that were buried when they built the building 100 over just over 100 years ago. Um, and they unearthed in one of these time capsules this 1919 World Series ball, and they had historians confirm that it actually was from that season. I forget if they said they could confirm if it was used in that World Series that the Black Sox threw, but uh, they did have baseball historians involved in this. But uh, so apparently they're to get rid of this curse. Okay, the other thing is, and I didn't enumerate all the things they did, but they said from that the day they opened the box is when like one of the Sox major losing streaks started. I forget all the different things that happened when they were when they actually found this ball. So they're blaming stuff that happened in 2023, or maybe it was, I forget which year was the worst for you. Maybe, well, last year for sure. But so this is, they found this post 2005 clearly. So that's why maybe they're like just saying that this is a new curse, like considering how bad things have been since for the last 5 years almost. So yeah, they're saying you weren't cursed for the 88 years between World Series victories you had before, but now you have been cursed for the last 5 years. If that makes any sense.
It doesn't. That's why I hate it. So, but I mean, it makes sense, but it
No,
doesn't
it
make
doesn't.
sense. So I got to thinking. I said, well, fuck this. Why don't we get down to real things, like things that probably really would, like, really truly coincide with, you know. And I think number one is what they should have done, but we'll get to number one. But I came up with three alternative takes on what you could do to reverse this alleged curse on the White Sox.
Yeah.
Now, if you're going after balls, the thing you should do, and wait, let me take one step back. I want to say I have removed the idea of having Jerry Reinsdorf assassinated because that is just like
Oh wow,
that's
yeah,
too
yeah.
extreme. That's too extreme. So
Yikes, yikes. Yeah,
and obvious. Yeah, that's
not
just
what we're saying on
yeah.
Major League A-holes in the
yes.
hole.
Yes, there's no this is a fun list, folks. This is not the angry White Sox list. So
Jeez.
number 3, you gather all the balls that were used in the game when they lost their 121st game and blow those fucking balls up. Because those are the
Yeah,
balls that brought them to their 121st loss, okay? Number
I
2,
like that.
Number 2, get every White Sox player together who was part of the Drake LaRoche season and apologize personally to Drake LaRoche for
Wow.
having him kicked out of the clubhouse. Adam Eaton can, I figured Adam Eaton can go ahead and conduct it. He can be like the person, running the show for this since Drake LaRoche,
Yeah.
he was the heart and soul of the team. So I think if you did that, that would be one step closer to breaking the curse. But I think, Smitty, we all know what needs to happen to truly break the curse. And that is going back to the moment that set the curse in motion, which is Chris Sale cutting up the softball jersey. So every softball jersey uniform that exists in picture, in if it's there's some in the Hall of Fame, whatever's in the White Sox Stadium or whatever the hell it's called now, the rate, you take everything and you just burn it. And you burn it in
Wow.
the parking lot in a huge dumpster by whole original home plate. And I tell you, folks, we will be in the playoffs this season.
I love all of those. Maybe you should just do all of them just to be safe.
Yeah,
But,
cover all the bases on that one.
Number one, destroying all the balls from the 121st loss. That makes perfect sense along the same lines as the Steve Bartman ball being destroyed. The Drake LaRoche. That's a blast from the past. Was that 2013, 2014?
Oh,
I forget what year
God.
that was. Adam Eaton loved himself. He loved the Drake. So yeah, he needs to be involved somehow. How old Drake LaRoche has to be like college age by now.
Yeah,
maybe he's out of college.
Maybe in his 20s even.
Yeah, I mean, is he a baseball prospect? Maybe he was just scarred so much by his experience in the White Sox locker room. He has no desire to play baseball anymore.
I'm pretty sure he and his dad do like CIA, like FBI.
Oh yeah, they're like
weird.
Yeah, they were like vigilante, human trafficking, trying to stop human trafficking in foreign countries. Like, that boy, there was a lot of blogging about that back in the day. Imagine if we had a podcast back then. But yes, the ultimate solution is clearly an aesthetics segment, cutting up all the jerseys. You've got to burn all of those the floppy collared. What year was that? 1977.
77
softball?
To like maybe 77, 78, and then I know the shorts were retired the same year, but I think they may have kept the jersey for 2 years.
Yeah, Chris Sale was not objecting. They weren't making him wear shorts. They were making him wear a blousy, loose 70s type softball jersey with a collar, and he's lost his fucking mind. And that kind of, like you said, set everything into motion. So I think that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I think you bring Chris Sale to light the match too. Like there's
his preferred method was scissors, as he cut up not only his jersey, but he cut up everybody's jersey in the locker room. That's when things got crazy. So, but he's a normal guy. He's just ask him. There's nothing weird about what he did.
He likes to point out I'm a normal guy.
Well, I think he went on AJ's podcast like last year and was trying to like reason, explain why he would do that, and like made himself try to sound that he was being very rational.
Yes. Yeah, we dissected that a bit on the podcast last year.
Oh, that was fun.
That was fun. So yeah, so that's this ridiculous baseball ceremony. These are alternative solutions. I thought that was pretty good.
I like yours far better than just reburying this 1919 ball. First of all, for the White Sox, anyone involved with the White Sox should not be bringing up 1919 because it's just never going to go well. But it was such a weird crew at Harry Carey's. I mean, Ron Kittle makes sense, but they had like Chris Chelios and Jeremy Roenick.
Yeah, I know.
There's a couple other. Oh, they had a former Cubs pitcher there who didn't speak, but he was just there. They introduced him. Like, why is he there? Like, what? I didn't understand that part of it. There's a couple of people I didn't know who they were. One was like the construction head that found the time capsules or something. Is trying to explain everything. So this is definitely an odd ceremony. I think any of your three ideas are better than what was done at Harry Carey's.
All I will say is whoever came up with this idea, and I'm guessing it was probably someone in the marketing department at Harry Carey's, because since it was hosted there, to do a White Sox thing, it's fucking terrible.
Yeah, I didn't see anyone like an official White Sox capacity involved in this, but maybe I missed that. But.
No, the closest thing to official White Sox capacity were when you were talking about randos there was like, and we've got a couple White Sox fans here, and I'm like, okay, great.
Word Hole Media.